Well, what a good win for our football team last Thursday. Probably our most complete game of the year, and we beat what I would consider one of the marquee teams in our league that is now 24-6 in their last 30 Sun Belt games due to our victory. And we played well in all aspects of the game. Certainly Rob Lowe had a really good football game, and you have to give credit to our offensive line for how well they played. Our defense continues to improve, and the balance in our offense was good. And so, good all-around win. We, in regard to Georgia State, this is a better football team than their record shows. They lost close games to Lafayette in the last few minutes, to South Alabama in the last few minutes, to New Mexico State in the last few minutes. They just have not been able to get over the hump and quite get it done, but they're really good at throwing the football. Their quarterback is really a dynamite thrower and does a great job for them. They're having a little trouble running the football, but they're throwing it really well. And we don't expect anything different than the usual fourth quarter game when you play these guys.
After coming off a key win against Arkansas State, how do you keep the mindset of an easy win out of the guys and go into the third quarter?
I think our guys have to have an understanding of what they're playing for, that they need a seventh win, and that overrides anything that you should be thinking about your opponent at this time.
Coach, is that something you try to suppress in the locker room before the game is brought up? Do you encourage guys to talk about it, or do you kind of shy that way and say, let's finish up the season and get about it?
Early in the year, I'd discourage it, but I think there's a point in time when you hit win number 5 or 6, whatever it may be, that you just as well be open and honest with it, because they know they know where we're at and what we're playing for, and so and it is motivating. I think I address it on Sunday and then put it to bed and put the focus on the team after that. But I think the best policy is to be open and honest and about where we are and the things we're playing for.
As more outsiders start looking at the program here over the next couple of weeks and at the conference and deciding who made their mark this season, what do you put in on the resume for Texas State as far as what you feel like you guys have accomplished?
Well, this team is a great story for the way they've had so many close games and had a chance to beat Illinois and Navy, and the way they have won a lot of close games at the end. We're one of the more improved offenses in the country. We're a defense that's getting better and better. We've got the leading tackler in the nation playing for our football team. We're scoring points, and I think we're exciting to watch. Sometimes frustrating a little bit, but exciting to watch in a lot of regards. I think your question leads into what are our selling points to the bowl people, and we've had good crowds and good following. Thursday night was kind of difficult because of a weeknight game for out-of-town fans, but for the most part we've had great crowds and great following, and I think our people would turn out in great force if we had an opportunity to go to postseason.
Coach, looking back at Thursday night, if there was one thing that stood out to me as a symptom I want to work on is Tyler's ball security on pitches. There were a couple times where Robert got in front of him, the timing was not off, and then finally we were just kind of yelling at him to hold on to it. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. Is that something y'all been working on?
We worked on it Sunday. He kind of got into an area where he probably should have been more aggressive to turn up and run it and then react if they fell back on him. And instead of trying to say, okay, what are you going to do? Think, run, and react to pitch. And he started running out of real estate to the sideline, and as we say, once you get to the bottom of the numbers, you got to start thinking about just getting what you can get. So, yeah, we worked on that Sunday in our practice.
What do you guys do to guard? Like last year, you guys got to 6 wins, seemed like the team just shut it down. What do you do as a coach to tell them, hey, you still have to go that process and win one more?
Well, I don't think we shut it down. I think we played 3 good football teams and we lost our quarterback. So, just to address that part of it. Well, I think last year taught us 6 doesn't mean much in this league. 7 does, and so we know we got to keep winning, and not assume anything is there for us at this point in time. So, there was a team last year, Western Kentucky, I think maybe had 8 wins and didn't get a bid, but they were leaving the conference, so maybe that had something to do with that too. But they understand they've got to keep winning.
Coach Curry was in there earlier in this, we're talking about a kid who's so much over the season. And after that, interior unit has gotten better, haven't they?
They have.
They really played well against Arkansas State. I thought, Arkansas State's average was to the outside, winning the ball if they had it. You guys kept them pretty good on the inside there.
We played good against the run. JT had two important points or keys for the game. Defense the run and don't give up the big play. And for the most part, we did that. And we did get them out of their run game. And that helped us a great deal. The last 2 games, Georgia State and Arkansas State, 2 pretty good rushing teams, we've done a nice job on. Which lends me to say that I think our defense and our front, as you mentioned, are getting better. Our JC guys now are almost seniors, and our freshmen are almost sophomores. And, we put a lot of emphasis and thought into we want to be better in November than October and vice versa, or on October and September. And, with 5 games on this schedule in November, we knew that we had to do that. And I think in some areas that's actually coming true.
After 11 games this year, are the offense and defense, are they right where you want them to be at this point in the season, heading in the last game?
I don't know if they're ever where you want them to be completely. We can always find things to improve on, but we've made dramatic improvement offensively. We're averaging, I think, 76 plays a game. That's up 12 plays a game over last year. I think we're one of the 7 or 8 most improved offenses in the nation. We really got a nice balance between run and pass. I think we've become harder to defend, and so that's good. Defensively, I knew that we would have to grow as the season wore on, and I think we've done that. Would I like to see more growth? Sure, I would. There's some guys who still are going to get better and better. But I'm certainly pleased with, we've had guys like Dila Rosemond step up at safety and really do a nice job. And Rashad Dillon played one of his better games the last 2 weeks. Berry is improving. Losing Mike Arakpo, you have to give a lot of credit to Trey and Stephen Smith and Jared Jeter Gilman stepping in and tightening the belts a little bit there. David Mims, wow, what an interception he had Thursday night. I mean, that was a fantastic play. You won't find a much better play anywhere in college football this year than what he made on that play. We've been able to get consistent performances from Mager and Mayo and Odiari. And not to take light of that, because they've certainly been difference makers for us. But those guys have all raised their games that I mentioned there, and that's Demetrius Woodard has raised his game. Damani Alexi's raised his game. They've gotten better as the season's wore on. They're very comfortable in John's defense now, and they've gotten playing time. So you hope those things would happen, but they don't always happen, and they have for us.
Stretch play really worked for you tonight. You kind of thought that would work going in. What made you think, I know that they, App State ran it well too, but I mean, does that match up well with your offense, the way your offensive line is moving out more, that's more mobile than it has been in the past, and can you talk about that a little bit, about the success of that plan? Is that gonna be a weapon in the future?
Well, it's probably, the second or third biggest play in our offense. I mean, of the core plays of what we run, that is an important part of what we do. And, when Appalachian State does to Arkansas State what they did, you take quick notice and say, well, all right, well, how'd they do it? And you're right, as you and I talked, the stretch play, which they do it differently than we do, but still very similar, was huge in what they did. And so that gave us, in our game plan, a lot of thoughts that was going to be a key component to what we were going to try to do. And we did it well. Our line sustained their blocks, and we did a nice job at second level getting blocks, and we stayed with it. And Rob really did a nice job of, our backs a few weeks ago were too fast to the perimeter. It was almost like they were just trying to run to the sideline and go. Well, on the stretch play, you don't want to go, if you're 4-4, you want to go about 4-6. And so, you want to glide. And so when the seam starts to develop, you can stick your foot in the ground and go vertical. And Rob did a great job of that the other night. And Terrence did too when he was in there, but Rob really did a nice job on it. And so I think we've gotten a little better at running the play, and we went into the game thinking that the play would be, we were going to have to make them stop it after the way they couldn't stop it the week before.
Did you look back and see how many times y'all ran that by chance?
I can look it up for you real quick, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Be interesting to see how much yardage y'all got off those stretch plays as a whole. I mean, it really takes a back that's decisive to make that work with Rob.
It does.
To put his foot in the ground together, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, that's a high repetition play in practice. You've got to run it for your back to get a feel. And then he really has to watch the tape and watch it from behind to see how the seams develop and where they're going to be. And they're never in the same place at every time. They're always different. And so the best thing he can do is have some patience, glide, as you say, and when he sees it and feels it, hit it. And that was the thing we were able to do a good job. And the line did a marvelous job of sustaining the block, not letting the guy separate at the last second and make the play after our back makes his decision. And that was really, really big for us.
Coach, the offense started off slow again. Did you make any adjustments, or did it just start to count on its own?
We're slow starters. We've been talking about this as offensive coaches. We put a lot of thought into what we were going to run in our opening sequence of plays, and it just takes us. We got to make a first down, and if we can make a first down and get into our rhythm, but I know the first two, maybe the first three drives, we didn't make a first down. And when that happens, it takes us a while. And that's happened week in and week out with us too many times. But it's just the way it is. Now, once we get our first downs and start going and we start getting our tempo going, we start getting in a rhythm, and I think we're okay now. And that's when we start to take off. But we have been infuriating for us as coaches in why we are slow starting in the first quarter, but we have been, and thank God we get going, and we got going well, but it was been concerning. I don't know if we have any good answers.
Sorry, Coach, we haven't really talked about it a lot, but that was first defensive stand when y'all turned it around first down, fourth down. How did that fit into the picture of the game? Obviously, I guess you showed your defense that they could stop on that.
Well, it was big for the defense. I think the one good thing that happened the other night, I don't think we ever had to play from behind. And we played even again because I think they tied us at 7-7. But as the game wore on, we answered all night. When they got field goals in the third quarter, we answered. We answered plus. And I think when you're playing a team like Arkansas State and you're able to do that, you know, that builds your momentum, that builds your confidence and your mindset, and I think it all played into that. And that was, you know, you look back, that was a big stop. And if you watch John's defense this year, how many times have we done that? We ought to count them up, I suppose. But they'll drive it down there, they'll get in, you know, we always say the red zone's a 20, but just look at how many times inside the 35-yard line John's gotten stops this year. And the defense has gotten stops. We let them get some yardage, we bend a little bit, but we've been able to keep them out of the end zone, and we've made them miss some field goals and miss the fourth down opportunities, and that's been a little bit of the story of our defense this year.